थैंक यू अरुण आपके मैसेज के लिए।
आप ऐसे अच्छे अच्छे पिक्चर डाला कीजिए, बहुत ही अच्छे लगते हैं।
थैंक यू।
ज़्यादातर बातें तो हो चुकी है जेंडर इक्वालिटी पर, आज हम सभी यहाँ पर इस मौके पर प्रेजेंट हैं। जेंडर इक्वालिटी की प्रॉब्लम पूरी दुनिया में है, बाकी सिर्फ
दुनिया भर में है, पर चीज़ें बदल रही हैं, उस पे हमको अमल करना चाहिए कि इतना फ़र्क है पहले से। जितनी ज़्यादा हम इस बारे में बात करेंगे, जागरूकता फैलेगी और बदलाव आएगा। तो मैं आई एम वेरी होपफुल दैट थिंग्स आर चेंजिंग फॉर द बेटर।
मैम जैसे कि OTT आ गया है, अभी बहुत सारे प्लेटफॉर्म्स हो गए हैं, तो इससे क्या मदद मिल रही है?
यही कि जितनी हमारी कहानियाँ पर्दे पर नहीं बन पाती, वो OTT के लिए तो बना पा रहे हैं हम, क्योंकि OTT पर हर तरह का ऑडियंस है। थिएटर में जब, हालांकि मुझे दुख होता है जब कोई कहता है कि अच्छा इस टाइप की फिल्म थिएटर में नहीं चलेगी, पर एटलीस्ट वो कहानी सुना तो पा रहे हैं हम।
Vidya ma'am, we keep speaking about
Hi, I can see it.
Ma'am, we keep speaking about how how the industry needs to change, how it needs to be inclusive, and that's very correct. But doesn't it start at a much more grassroots level from the families?
It definitely does. That's where the change has to happen. But you know, we are hoping that it comes outward in, if not inward out. Yeah? Thank you all very much.
Thank you everyone.
Bye. Bye.
So my first question is, you've seen in the study that only 23% of women, are there in films, and very few of them actually play lead roles. Whereas fairly early, you have broken that zinc and you have become a lead actor, and you carry several films on your shoulder. So what has been your arch? At what point did you crack that?
Yeah, firstly, may I just say a big hi to everyone. I'm very happy to be here and to see so many people on a rainy day. I was also expecting very few people when, because it's been raining since the morning, but it's wonderful to be here. And one of my professors, Shilpa Farke, is here, who heads the Media Studies Department at TIS. Y'all are really doing some wonderful work, so thank you for that. The change for me happened because I was very restless doing the kind of work I was doing. It was early years of my career, and I was playing roles of the romantic interest in a lot of my early films. Even if this is my so-called last film, so be it. But because I enjoyed the process, but I think I was at the right place at the right time, and things were turning, because things were turning around us. Suddenly, this process hasn't happened overnight. It's been happening, it's still happening. And in cinema, I really believe is a reflection of what happens around us. So that change was actually, now there were people who were writing stories where women were finding their voice, where women were coming of age, where women were, doing as they pleased with their bodies. And I think it was just one thing led to another. After Ishqiya, I got offered No One Killed Jessica, which was again, so I think it just set the ball in motion, and here I am. So it was not just about me. I think that change was actually happening all around us, and was slowly, at that time it got reflected in cinema. So I was very, very fortunate.
Absolutely amazing.
And as you realize, if you ask me a question, I can just go.
But it's so wonderful to just see you all talking, so it's like half I can hear, half I'm only seeing you.
I hope that's a compliment. Thank you.
Just so much admiration. Yeah, so the other question is, in our study we found that the distinct gender pattern where the top box office films are all about wars and crime and politics and corruption and things, underworld, etc. And the women-centric films for various reasons, were definitely engaging with looking at families and sexuality, things to do with, aspirations and how probably they are being not allowed to do what they want, etc. Whereas in your case, you actually have broken into the war crime, and your forthcoming film also is one of that. So again, how do you find that kind of acceptance to do those roles?
I don't think it's about, of course.
In fact, what stood out for me in that film is the fact that you actually give a pushback. When your husband gaslights you and says you're not taking care of the home, your son is going wayward, this and that, you actually says, but what are you doing? What's your responsibility in all this? And I think that pushback is vital in films. In every occasion, if the scripts can give the pushback, that gives the signal about how these are not okay and women can question it. And I think...
Sorry to have interrupted, but that was written by Balki, R. Balki. So I think that's also very important to note, that it was a man who wrote that scene. So we also need more men
of that kind.
We just can't, we shouldn't be only driving the change.
Yes. True.
Sorry I interrupted
you.
No
problem. So my last question is, the data behind the screen is definitely not very encouraging.
Yeah, I have to tell you that when I read it, I was shocked because the reality to me seemed different. But obviously, you all have done in-depth research. Yes, please.
Yeah, so what would you think needs to be done by the film fraternity to bring about changes there? Whether it's to do with posh committees, having the, creche facilities, having safe workplaces, women being dropped if it is late, things like that we are looking at, need to be done. What do you
don't think we have creche facilities yet, but definitely posh committees on every production that I've been involved in. And so I can tell you that a lot of production houses are following that. And the third thing you brought up was...
how do we bring about broader changes?
Yeah, I think it's just about... I don't think the answer is simple, and I don't think I'm in a position to furnish solutions like that, but it has to be holistic. It has to be... And I don't see why it's a bad thing if women are hiring more women. Eventually that will percolate into the men-led films also. I am seeing that change there. For example, on Mission Mangal, we had far many more women than I've seen on any commercial film, behind the scenes. And I am seeing more DOPs, editors, and so I was a bit surprised when you said, actually, and writers, I was a bit surprised when it said that there are not as many scriptwriters or editors, women scriptwriters or editors, but I think the change is happening. What we all have to do is look at a person for their ability to what they bring to the table and not judge them by their gender, whatever it is. I know it's easier said than done. We're working against the, it's a lifetime of conditioning, but and I think within the industry I know of lots of people who are making small efforts, but I think every drop makes the ocean, right? So everything will contribute to bringing about change.
So thank you very much, and we look forward to having more conversations with you, and also see that you spearhead a lot of changes so that several young actors will take more from your
Thank you.
thing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you all very much.
It was great. For the release of the report, we'd now like to also invite Professor Shalini Bharat, Mr. Mike Hankey, Ms. Gurit Monga Kapoor, Nandita Das, Mr. Nitin Tej Ahuja, Oh God, wait. Mr. B.N. Tiwari, President, Federation of Western Indian Cine Employees. Ms. Sucharita Tyagi. Think I've
Give them.